Hello everybody, and welcome to the first semi-final episode of War Machine Season 3.1. So featured here for commentary, it's just me for this one. No one else was available at the time I recorded this video, so you'll have to deal with me and my commentary for this episode. But either way, we will still have fun during this video. So, the first 10 episodes of this season featured the 10 heats, where 12 robots made their debut in each heat, and 8 of them went on to the semifinals round. Last time, we watched Ironaut 2.1 claim the very first spot in the grand final bracket by winning the Lost Bracket episode. And starting here will be the first of 10 episodes featuring the semifinals round, and we will see the winning robots, the 8 winning robots from each heat fight it out for a spot in the grand final episode during those 10 videos. And starting tonight, we will see the 8 robots from Heat A fight it out. So how this works is, the 8 winning robots of each heat were seeded. The robots that won their opening round match were seeded 1 to 6, depending on their performance in their opening round matchups, while the other 2 that came out of the redemption round got some seeds 7 and 8, and those were determined based on both their performance in their opening round match as well as their performance in their redemption round battle. The idea is that these robots were paired up with each other based on their seeds, and these robots will fight it out bracket style, and the winning robot will get a spot in the grand final bracket. However, the remainder of the top 4 will not be out yet, as in between the semifinals and grand final bracket, we will see 2 more brackets. The first one will be a 3rd place bracket, which features all the robots who got 3rd place in the semifinal brackets, and they will be joined by 6 selected 4th place robots that will be determined based on their performances and all their matchups up to that point. The top 6 of that bracket will join the runner-ups in a 2nd place bracket, which will determine some wildcard spots into the grand final bracket. A lot of fun is on the way, so let's go ahead and get to semifinal A and determine who will be the next robot to claim a spot in the grand final bracket, and let's go ahead and show off the bracket. Alright, so now that we have the bracket up, we got some fierce matchups here. Now, so we got Eruption, the defending champion of War Machines in the Robot Wars mod, who snagged the 1 seed after their dominant victory over Typhoon 2. Facing them in this round will be the 8-seeded Titan, who lost a relatively close one to General Chompsalot in their opening round matchup, and then came out on top in their Redemption Rumble with Thermidor 2 and Typhoon 2. So when we go to the other side, we got the 2-seeded Aftershock and their vertical spinner. Aftershock is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with after that dominant victory over Thermidor 2 in their opening round matchup. How will they fare when they take on the flipper of Atomic, who also came out of the redemption round after getting slaughtered by Razer in the opening round, but then had a dominant victory over Splinter and Hard Cheese in the redemption rumble that got them into this spot. So now down below, we got the 3-seeded Razer and their Crusher, who had dominant victory over Atomic. Taking them on will be General Chompsalot, who got a relatively close judge's decision victory over Titan in their opening round matchup. We got the Battle of the Biters in this heat. Then we got gaining the 4 seed with Tsunami and their Flipper, who got a decent victory over Splinter, landing shot after shot with that Flipper. And taking them on will be Gabriel, a very unique design with that thwacker. So yeah, we got lots of big stuff coming, and definitely going to be stuff to enjoy. So let's go ahead and check out our first matchup, where we're going to go right to the 4 and the 5 seed and watch Tsunami take on Gabriel. This one's going to be an interesting one, because Tsunami hasn't really fought a robot like Gabriel before. This will definitely be an interesting one. It'll be interesting to see how they fare against such an odd looking design like Gabriel. But And then on the other hand, Gabriel, where who knows what would happen if that flipper gets underneath them and starts launching them. Gabriel's definitely going to be relying on that thwacker to cause as much damage as possible, because Tsunami's definitely going to be coming right for them. Either way, this should be an interesting matchup. Let's go ahead and get to the first matchup of the episode. Alright, here we go. Both these robots meeting in, and Tsunami landing an early flip on Gabriel and pushing them around the arena. Now Gabriel trying to get that thwacker involved, but continues to take a flip. Near miss by Gabriel right there. There's a hit from that thwacker, but they're taking some more flips from Tsunami in the process here. Tsunami coming out swinging very early, but it looks like they're stuck. But then Gabriel lands a hit with that thwacker, which sets Tsunami free. It might be a costly mistake by Gabriel here, as they are taking flips once again. But Gabriel just going at it. Landing a few hits with that thwacker right there. Tsunami getting right in there. Definitely doing a good job controlling this match so far. But I gotta say, though, this has been a relatively even match so far. Definitely Gabriel's been landing a fair share of blows in with that thwacker. But Tsunami just all over Gabriel with the aggression and control. They are definitely winning this fight so far. But right now we're only a minute into this one, and I gotta say we've been seeing some great action from both. And now Tsunami has Gabriel up against the rails. Could they get them out of the arena here? Not quite. And Gabriel coming in with another shot, while Tsunami coming in with that flipper once again. Nice flip right there. Got that flipper underneath the wheels of Gabriel and pushing them around. Gabriel really struggling to control this fight right now. Tsunami just doing an excellent job using their advanced push power to their advantage in this one. And man, great stuff. And now got him in the corner, and what a move there from honestly both robots. Great moment in the match so far. We are a little over a minute left to go in this one. I'd say Tsunami has the lead on points right now, but what a fight this has been so far. Both robots getting some great action in there. And wow, this has been such an impressive showing. The thwacker temporarily stuck underneath Tsunami's flipper. Now Tsunami tossing Gabriel right back into the corner here. Gabriel trying to get free, but just not able to do it. Tsunami just staying in their face despite all the hits that Gabriel has been able to land. A couple nice hits right there. But how much damage has really been done so far? We've seen a lot of control and aggression, mainly from Tsunami, but not much damage in this fight. Gabriel probably has the more damage-effective weapon, but we haven't seen any key damage. 20 seconds left to go. What a fight this has been so far. Excellent showing from both robots. Like, great leadoff match to start the semifinals. So, less than 10 to go here. It is looking like the first match of the semifinals is going to go to the judges. And now that is confirmed. This fight is now in the hands of the judges. Wow. That was a good showing from honestly both robots in this one. So, in terms of the judging criteria here, yeah, this is going to be a tight one. So this one's scored mainly on damage, aggression, control, and weapon usage, like what I've done in a few Fantasy Robot League competitions. Like, gotta say, like, I think this is gonna be a close fight, because like, in terms of aggression and control, I'd say Tsunami was dominant in that. Weapon usage was probably about even, but then damage. How are the judges going to score that one? Because, like, Gabriel definitely has the more damage-effective weapon between the two of them, but we didn't really see much damage being called there. We didn't see much damage caused in that fight, basically. So, I think this one could be a closer one than what a lot of people might think, because, like, Gabriel did land quite a few shots in there with that thwacker, as did Tsunami with that flipper. So, who knows what it's going to come down to? Let's go ahead and hear what the judges had to say. So, the judges' scorecards are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Tsunami. Yeah, I would probably agree with the call myself, because, like, there wasn't a lot of damage being caused in this one, but almost all of the control and aggression was done by Tsunami, who drove that fight brilliantly there. As did Gabriel, where we got to see quite a few thwack shots in there, and just an entertaining fight overall. So we will see Tsunami in the next round, where they'll run into either the defending champ Eruption or the Hammer of Titan in the next round. We'll sadly have to say goodbye to one of the most unique robots in the competition, Gabriel. Hopefully we'll get to see them again for a bonus fight, or in one of the other events that are planned for this season. So anyway, moving on, we're going to go over to the 2 seed and watch Aftershock, who's going to take on Atomic in this one. And yeah, Aftershock, one of their big weaknesses is definitely a flipper robot. And they got a flipper last time, and fortunately that didn't stop them from winning that fight dominantly. They got another flipper here, and just knowing from Robot Arena 2 experience, Atomic getting taken out is not going to be an easy task for Aftershock, because that flipper is very low to the ground, and that flipper has proven to have quite a lot of power to it. But then, as proven in their first 2 fights, those sides are definitely delicate, so Aftershock is definitely going to be aiming for those, and I think if they can get to those sides, I think it's going to be game over for Atomic. But on the other hand, if Atomic can keep that front towards Aftershock, could we see them pull off a major upset in this one? I can't wait to find out. Let's go ahead and get to this fight. Here we go. Aftershock on the move with that vertical spinner. Atomic trying to keep the front. Aftershock gets a hit onto the sides, and look at that bend right in there. But Atomic getting that flipper underneath, landing a few nice flips there. Excellent start here from both robots. Aftershock landing a big bite into the sides of Atomic, but now Atomic getting that flipper underneath. The Pit of Oblivion is now open, and Atomic pushing Aftershock towards it. They flipped Aftershock too far, and now they're dangling on the sides, and a big hit by Aftershock that knocks Atomic into all the way down the pit. What a turn of events right there. I gotta say, that's kind of a little bit of luck on the Aftershock right there, because it looked like Atomic was about to flip Aftershock all the way into the pit and knock off the 2 seed in this one. But little did they know, they flipped Aftershock too far. Flipped them above the pit enough to where Aftershock was able to just stay in the corner there, basically just avoid falling into the pit. But then Atomic got too close and fell in themselves. But then lined up to where they weren't out yet, and Aftershock just landed that brutal hit right to the sides of Atomic that almost control boarded them right off the bat, but knocked them fully into the pit. I wouldn't call that the most dominant victory by Aftershock, but it was a victory overall, and we will see Aftershock move on to the second round, where they will take on the winner of Razer and General Chompsalot. But before we get to that matchup, it's time to watch the defending champ fight again. We got Eruption, the top seeded in this semi-final, who's going to take on Titan, a vicious hammer bot so far, and this one's definitely going to be one to watch. We're about to find out whether Titan can give Eruption a good run for their money here. I think this one's going to come down to ground game, because both of them do have relatively low to the ground fronts, and whoever wins the ground game starts landing shots, I think is going to be the one winning this fight, whether it's Titan with that hammer or Eruption with that flipper. Either way though, I think Titan's going to be trying to cause as much damage as possible while avoiding the flipper of Eruption, while Eruption's goal is probably going to be the same as Typhoon 2, get Titan out of the arena. But let's go ahead and find out what happens in this fight. Could we see Titan knock off the defending champ, or at least give them a good run for their money? Let's find out. Here we go. And so now Titan backing off, a little awkward right there. Now these two going head on. Nice hit from Titan, but they take a flip from Eruption in the process. and Titan almost getting sent out right there. Eruption on the attack, landing some shots with that flipper, just knocking Titan around, and gone right away. 22 seconds was all it took, and that is it for Titan in this one. Well, we got to see a couple hammer shots from Titan, but that sure was not enough, because right when Eruption got underneath Titan for the first time, it appeared to be all over for Titan. Eruption just did not let up, and then eventually, boom, Titan is all the way out of the arena. Another out of the arena for the defending champ. They will move on, where we will get to see a flipper battle between Eruption and Tsunami in the next round. That should be an epic showdown, but we got one matchup left to determine before we get to a showdown like that. Coming up next, we got the Battle of the Biter Robots. We got General Chompsalot versus Razer. And so, yeah, this is gonna be an interesting showdown, because like we got Razer, yeah, vertical crusher like that, and then General Chompsalot, a vertical like biter basically, and yeah, kind of like how I see this one. I see this one kind of going down the same way as the previous one. Who can win the ground game and who can get the first bite in? Both of these robots are definitely capable of doing damage, so this should be an interesting showdown. I think let's go ahead and get right onto it and find out who will take on Aftershock in the next round. Time for the battle to begin, and this one's going to come down to driving. And so now Razer nearly getting a bite in on Chompsalot there, but Chompsalot drives away, and drives away again in this one. Chompsalot wants nothing to do with that crusher on Razer, as they probably saw what that crusher did to Atomic in Razer's opening round matchup, and a near bite right there once again. Razer trying to sink that tooth in there, but General Chompsalot is so slippery to where it's hard to do that. Excellent driving from both robots so far. Razer appears to be winning the ground game so far pretty easily. General Chompsalot trying to figure out what to do here. They are struggling to get in a bite, but there's one right there. Forget what I just said. Biting right on the wedge of Razer. Can they do any damage? Looks like the spike hazards are getting involved. And now we got another bite. Both robots clamped onto each other right there. Razer sinking that crusher right into the weapon. Are either weapon doing any damage there? Doesn't seem to be much. And now Razer has now been freed. And now there's a bite right there. And whoa! Look at the top of Chompsalot. That did a huge amount of damage right there. Wow. That crusher on like there's a difference in damage that those two weapons do right there, and I think that bite that Razer got just seals it. And look at that right there, another little bite and more of the top just sunk on General Chompsalot. This is not going in the direction Chompsalot wants. Good start with avoiding that crusher, but now Razer, they gotten a few bites in, and look at that damage being taken. Some serious points in Razer's favor in this one. But now, Razer got a temporary bite, and now Chompsalot is on control board damage here. Chompsalot needs to be careful. Well, they're not avoiding that crusher as well as they did in the first minute of this fight, and they got less than a minute now to do something big. But now Razer, another small bite in on Chompsalot, but now Razer has a pin and finishes the job, and they will win this one by a knockout. That was another great showing from that crusher on Razer. Another dominant performance from them for the most part, because they did have that one moment that Chompsalot had in terms of control, but either way, that was a great showing from Razer, and same thing with Chompsalot. Sadly, we'll have to say goodbye to General Chompsalot here. Another really unique design, and hopefully we'll get to see Chompsalot again later this series. So now the final four is determined. Sadly, we did have to say goodbye to half the field in the semifinal bracket. Hopefully we'll get to see them all again. Thanks to all four of them for such a great showdown. So yeah, so then on one side we get the one-seeded Eruption, the defending champ, looking to out of the arena their third victim, which is looking to be Tsunami, another flipper. We'll find out, because I bet both of them are going to be going for the out of the arena in this one. Who's going to get it, if either of them? Then on the other side, we have Aftershock and Razer, the 2 and the 3 seed, a battle between two robots who are full of brute force and have used that to get victories so far this season. That should be an interesting showdown, but let's get to Tsunami and Eruption, which will be the first battle of the top 4. So this one's definitely going to come down to driving as well as ground game in this one. Because like I said earlier, both robots are almost certainly going to be going for the out of the arena in this one. It is a typical strategy for flippers in this mod and in this game. So yeah, it's definitely going to come down to who can outdrive the other, who can land the first flip, and who can get that finishing blow. I feel it should be an interesting one. Let's go ahead and find out who will accomplish that stuff, and let's get to this matchup. Time for the battle to begin here. And Eruption landing an early flip on Tsunami. They are definitely winning the ground game so far, and Tsunami being forced to self-right. Another big flip from Eruption. And they have Tsunami in the corner here. Flip after flip being landed by Eruption, just not allowing Tsunami to get on their feet in this one. So here comes Eruption once again, landing a few more flips. Another big flip from Eruption, just not allowing Tsunami to do anything with that flipper so far. 30 seconds in, it's been all the defending champs so far. Tsunami's just been spending most of this fight so far trying to right themselves and get a breather from Eruption, but Eruption's just denying that until now here. We got a showdown between the two flippers, and Eruption wins the ground game again, proving they are the lower to the ground robot here, and continuing to flip Tsunami around. Tsunami just struggling just to get going in this fight. Eruption has them right. The rails almost gets them out, but gets them out right there. And another out of the arena by the defending champ, and the defending champ has claimed the first spot in the semifinal, well, the final fight in this episode. They'll claim the first spot and look to be in the running for the first spot in the grand final. Well, not the first spot in the grand final. Yeah, basically they'll be looking for a fight in the grand final. So yeah, moving on after that terrible English by myself. So either way, great victory by Eruption. Tsunami is not out of the competition yet, as we will see them in the third place match, where they'll look to confirm a spot in the third place bracket, or if they lose their third place match, risk potentially getting a spot or being eliminated with a fourth place spot. So either way though, let's move on to a matchup I can't wait for. We got Aftershock and Razer, the 2 and the 3 seed, who are about to have a showdown. This is a battle between two robots who use brute force in two different ways. We got Aftershock with their vertical spinners, and we got Razer with their crusher, who have both caused immense amounts of damage here. I feel whoever's going to be able to get those damaging blows in first and early could be the victor of this one. Either way though, I feel this one's going to be nasty, and I think at least one of these robots is going to have a heck of a repair job coming out of this fight, because I think this is going to be a destructive one. Either way though, let's go ahead and find out and get to this fight. Anyway, here we go. Aftershock circling around Razer. I don't think they want anything to do with that crusher, and landing a hit from the floor flipper, landing some hits on Razer here. Now Razer being forced to self-right, and Aftershock landing some nice shots with that vertical spinner. Now the spikes getting involved in this one, hitting Razer on the underside. And now here comes Aftershock once again, backing away from Razer. I think Aftershock might be trying to lure them into the floor flipper or something like that, just because, like, try to upend Razer, because Razer does appear to be the lower to the ground robot between the two of them. Aftershock, interesting strategy, seems to be working so far, but now Razer taking more shots from the floor flipper. Here comes Aftershock once again, and now I think I saw some smoke coming out of one robot. Yes, we got smoke coming out of Razer in that one, after Aftershock just landed some hits, and now there goes the shell of Razer. Part of Razer is now exposed, but now Razer dishes that crusher right into that weapon, and Aftershock's weapons are gone. What a turn of events right there. Because, like, in the last 15 seconds, we saw Aftershock landing a flurry of hits that knocked off the shell of Razer, and then Razer just dug that crusher right into the weapon of Aftershock, and that just destroyed the weapon of Aftershock. What the heck just happened here? And now Razer looking to use this advantage of Aftershock not having a primary weapon for the rest of this fight to their advantage, and trying to sink that crusher into Aftershock. But so far that is not an easy task. The floor flipper getting involved here. Aftershock might need to rely on the hazards here, because that was some major points for Razer. And now Razer trying to get a bite in. Looked like they did get a little nibble, but then Aftershock slipped away, but not that time. It looks like Aftershock, but the floor flipper helps out Aftershock after Razer just got a major bite in right there. Less than a minute to go. What a fight this has been. Another hit from a floor flipper that flips Razer over. Aftershock luckily lands right side up here after taking another hit from a floor flipper. Now Aftershock showing some excellent control here, and Razer trying to get another bite in, but now they have Aftershock, and now we got smoke coming out of Aftershock in this one. Less than 30 seconds to go. This has been a chaotic fight, just like I mentioned right there. Now Aftershock freed, but then takes a hit from the floor flipper, and now they're stuck. Not until Razer got involved in the action, but now Aftershock trying to pin Razer. Instead, they're caught in the grip of Razer once again. And that's going to do it for this fight. This fight is now in the hands of the judges, and this is not going to be an easy one to call, I feel. Okay. Well, I predicted that that fight was going to be chaotic, and I say that was pretty chaotic. So what we saw in the early going of this fight, Aftershock baited Razer into the floor flipper pretty well, because, yeah, Aftershock was probably not going to win the ground game in this one, so it wasn't a bad idea. Managed to land a flurry of hits, including knocked off the shell of Razer and started some smoke in the backside, but then the tables really turned in the one moment where Razer managed to dig that crusher right into the vertical spinner of Aftershock. Razer then got a few more bites. Aftershock did get a few control moments, so this is going to be a tough one to call, I feel. So, yeah, this was a hard-fought fight, chaotic, lots of destruction, lots of stuff we like to see here in War Machines. Anyway, though, enough of that. Let's go ahead and hear what the judges had to say about this one. So, the judges' votes are in, and we have a unanimous decision. The winner is Razer. Yeah, that one was very close to call. I would not have been surprised if it went to Aftershock myself, but if I was a judge, I probably would have also scored the fight for Razer. Either way, though, that was an impressive fight. That's my favorite fight of the episode so far. And we still got a couple more fights for you. Razer will join in Eruption in the fight for a grand final spot, while Aftershock will take on Tsunami in our next fight to determine who will get third place in this bracket and automatically get a spot in the third place bracket, happening right after this series of semifinals episodes. So, yeah, let's go ahead and get right to talking about that fight then. So, this one's going to be an excellent battle between brute force and control here. because Aftershock will be looking to cause as much damage as they possibly can with those vertical spinners, while Tsunami is going to be looking to control the brunt of the fight and take those hits with that flipper. Tsunami is pretty well armored, so I wouldn't be surprised if they're able to take the hits pretty well from Aftershock. But you never know, because those vertical spinners are definitely very vicious on Aftershock. Just take a look at their first two opponents. Just take a look at Thermidor 2 and Atomic after they took hits from those spinners. Either way, though, I think this will be an entertaining fight. Let's find out who will win this third place match. Alright, here we go. Aftershock circling Tsunami. Tsunami coming right in there. Aggressive strategy, like what they've done before. Misflip, but Aftershock tips on their front, and now takes a flip from Tsunami. Tsunami, excellent start so far. Looking to control this match, maybe getting out of the arena here in this one. But Aftershock landing a few minor hits, but there was a few big hits. Now Robot's right side up and big flip from Tsunami. Excellent stuff in this one. Now misflips are definitely costing Tsunami a little bit, but not right there. That was a nice flip and almost gets Aftershock out of the arena. Yeah, when Tsunami mistimes their flip, Aftershock is making them pay a little bit for it, like right there. But then every time Tsunami gets that flipper underneath, nice stuff from them, but now Tsunami taking a few hits right under the internals there, and now there's smoke coming out. Some big time damage being caused by Aftershock with those vertical spinners, but now Tsunami does manage to land a flip in the process. So we got more smoke coming out. Aftershock landing a few more hits as well. This has been a relatively even fight so far, and we're not even at the halfway point quite yet. So right now, lots of control moments from Tsunami as well as Aftershock, but now Aftershock getting some more hits in onto the underside of the flipper as well as the internals right there. Could they potentially cause a major piece of damage? We got a little over a minute to go in this fight. This has been close so far. It's too close for me to call, but that might be a turning point right there. One of the vertical discs has just come off of Aftershock. Aftershock has just taken a major piece of damage right there. Not sure if it was recoil from all those shots that Tsunami has landed that involved them self-righting using their own spinners, or if it was just all those shots just taking their toll for Aftershock here. Either way though, Aftershock is off balance right now. Less than a minute to go. This is a good moment from Tsunami. How well can Tsunami take advantage of this? Aftershock turns off the vertical spinners just to try to get the balance going, but now they got the vertical spinner running, and now landing a few more hits with that vertical spinner here. We got a push off between these two robots, and now the smoke seems to be getting even bigger on Tsunami, including control board action too. Less than 30 seconds to go, and what a fight so far. This is great stuff right now. And 10 seconds left to go. What a close fight this has been right now. Like, this is even closer than the last one in my opinion. And this fight is now in the hands of the judges. Well, the judges' decision showdown seem to just be getting closer and closer in my eyes. Because, yeah, I thought the last one was close. I think this one's also going to be insanely close. And another nail-biter of a decision here. Yeah, so the first bit, relatively even between those two. Aftershock landing some hits with those vertical spinners. Tsunami landing some shots with that flipper every once in a while. But then eventually we got a moment where Tsunami had a very key misflip that Aftershock did a brilliant job of taking advantage of and managed to cause some smoke in the internals of Tsunami. But then eventually, lots of those hits from Aftershock or those self-rights were taking their toll because Aftershock did lose half their weapon, which does count against them, even if it wasn't damage done directly from Tsunamis. I wouldn't be able to call whether that was or not. Either way, though, it is damage against Aftershock in this one, so Tsunami should definitely be getting some points in that category too. But then even with the damaged weapon, Aftershock was still able to get some pretty nice control moments and did get a few more hits on Tsunami towards the end of that match. Either way, though, this should be a very close decision here. I'm not sure which direction this one's going to go, as, yeah. So, let's go ahead and hear what the judges had to say about this one. So, the judges' votes are in, and we have a split decision. The winner, moving on to getting an instant spot in the third place bracket, is Tsunami. Yeah, that was a nail biter of a decision right there. Aftershock dropping two very close decisions in there. However, Aftershock is not out yet because some fourth place robots will get a spot into the third place bracket. It'll depend on all the other robots' resumes and how they compare to Aftershock. But I'd say Aftershock's destructive first two fights and two very close split decisions. I think Aftershock has a decent resume for one of those 6 wildcard spots into the fourth place bracket. But it will depend on how the other robots and all the other semifinals do who get into the same position that Aftershock is in right now. As for Tsunami, great victory by them. Definitely a few concerns to watch there after that fight. But either way, though, still a great win by Tsunami. We will see them in the third place bracket here. Great job to them for the victory. And now we have a grand final spot to determine. And it is between the 1 seed and the defending champion, Eruption, where all of their victories so far in this season have been out of the arenas. First Typhoon 2, then Titan, then Tsunami. They're looking to make Razer their next victim of the out of the arena, while Razer, on the other hand, looking to take out the defending champ, or at least give them a good run for their money. I know they'd probably prefer the first one for sure. But this one will definitely be an interesting showdown here. I think once again it's just going to be driving and ground game for this one. Because I do also believe that if Razer can get a bite in with that crusher, could that be the end of Eruption? Just knowing how vulnerable that flipper has been in the past. Either way, though, I think this will be a great showdown. What a fight this will be to end the night. Let's find out who will claim the next spot in the grand final bracket. Here we go, time for this match to begin, and both these robots meet right in the middle, and Eruption starts off with an early flip in this one, and another flip from Eruption. Great start from Eruption so far, landing another flip in right there, but now Razer underneath Eruption, and they're digging that crusher right in there, but Eruption manages to barely slip out of that one. Eruption, looks like that's one of the first times we've seen an opponent managed to get a sufficient enough shot in there. But now Eruption making Razer pay for those and landing a few brilliant flips in there. But now Eruption's gotta be careful. Razer going head on with them, trying to get underneath them. Looks like Razer's partway underneath. But either way though, great showdown so far from these two robots. We are about a minute into this one. And now Razer underneath Eruption again, digging that crusher right in. But then Eruption does get away, luckily. So we're a minute into this fight. We've seen moments from both robots so far. Great start to this fight. Both robots clearly after that spot in the grand final. But now Eruption laying a few more flips. Razer being forced to self-right with their wing system right there. So, but now here comes Eruption once again, just denying Razer the opportunity to get some breathing room so far, and just denying them the use of that crusher. And trying to get Razer out of the arena, but just missed right there. But now Razer back up and looking to try to dig that crusher right in. Razer has Eruption pinned, and now they have them right by the side right there. Great stuff from Razer. Can Eruption get free from Razer's grip right there? And there they go. They now are free from Razer's grip. And now Floor Flipper getting in on the action and flips Eruption. Possibly save them, but now Razer has them, pushing them right into the corner there. What a moment from Razer. Can they puncture the top of Eruption right there? Razer is definitely giving the defending champ a major run for their money in this one. We are now a minute left to go in this one. Great stuff from both robots. This is another very close fight so far. A few more nice flips from Eruption, looking to try to flip them towards the arena rails right there. They have him right there. Can they get him out? Yes! That's going to be it for Razer. And Eruption with another out of the arena in what was such an awesome showdown. Wow. I gotta say, what another turn of events right there. Back and forth action between those two. It was really hard to tell who was going to take that lead. I'm curious how the judges would have scored that one if that fight did happen to go to the judges, because both of those robots had some excellent moments in that one. Eruption with that flipper. Razer got a few really solid bites in there, but then Eruption, thankfully to the judges, that fight didn't end up going to the judges because Eruption managed to toss Razer right out and managed to win this one by a knockout. So we will now see the defending champ Eruption in the grand final episode with 4 out of the arenas on their name so far. We're going to find out who their next victim, if anyone, will be. So yeah, we'll see Eruption in the grand final. We'll have to see who they draw next. I imagine it will probably be a really difficult opponent like this one right here, because anyone in the grand final episode is there for a reason. And yeah, we'll definitely see many big names in there. It'll be a tough road, but we could definitely see Eruption make it there. In terms of Razer, excellent stuff from Razer all episode in this one. They might have dropped this one, but they sure did make multiple statements for themselves throughout this video, including the fact that they gave the defending champ a serious run for their money in this fight. Got a few excellent bites in there, and Razer will definitely be a force to be reckoned with when they enter the runner-up bracket. So yeah, I think this will conclude it for this video. So thank you for watching this episode. Be sure to tune in next time for semifinal B, where we get to see 8 more robots fight it out for another spot in the grand final episode. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content. So yeah, I will hopefully see you next time.